Now the topic before us is peak, peak or peak. Now the right word. These three words, peak, peak and peak, are homophones. That is, when we speak any of these words, the pronunciation is same. But the letters in each of these words is different. Their meanings is different. This course equips you to conquer them all and use them with confidence. After going through this course, you will understand the meaning of each of these words and you will be in a position to use them properly. That is, whether you will understand where to you are to use PEEK, or where to you are use PEAK, or where you are to use PIQUE. Firstly, PEAK. It means the highest point or pinnacle of something. Suppose this is the mountain and it is the highest point, it will be called peak of the mountain. Peak is also used to refer to peak of one's career, highest point in one's career. If a person has reached a highest level in the organization, it may be treated as peak of one's career. Or the peak season of tourism. Here we will understand the usage of peak with the help of certain examples. Most athletes reach their peak in their mid 20s. Here the peak has been used with reference to the career. Their sales reached their peak during the holiday season. Here peak means highest sales recorded in the holiday season. Next, it is difficult to reach the peak of the Mount Everest, highest point of Mount Everest. Her career reached its peak in the 1990s. Another example is traffic reaches its peak between 8 and 9 in the morning. What it means? It means that traffic is at its highest between 8 and 9 in the morning. So here PEAK means highest of something. Next, we will understand the meaning of PEEK. What you look at this word PEEK. It has two E. In case of I, we again have two E. So this peak PEEK is concerned with eyes. It reminds you that peak is something to do with your eyes. Peek means to look at something, often secretly or through a small opening. Peek is concerned with eyes. When you look at something secretly or through a small opening, it is peek. P-E-E-K. Examples are: let me peek at your grocery list to see if you need anything else. I peeked through the blinds to see what was happening outside. He peeked at the menu before making his order or placing his order. The sun peeked through the clouds for a brief moment, or I took a peek at the list. Secret look, quick look at the list. Next is PIQUE, peak. It means to arouse curiosity or interest. It is the most common meaning of peak. PIQUE, to arouse curiosity or interest. It may also mean to slightly offend or hurt meaning feelings, annoy someone, though this is a less common meaning. Examples of usage of this word are: the movie trailer piqued my interest. aroused my interest. The professor's unique teaching style piqued the students' interest in the subject. Next is it picked her when no one invited her to the party. Suppose there are 10 persons in the class and all the students have been invited by some other student for his birthday party on, and one person or one student has not been invited. So it picked her. It hurted her feelings when no one invited her to party because she was not invited to the party. Common mistakes using peak, P-E-E-K instead of peak. Her career or he reached the peak of his career. Here P-E-E-K is concerned with eyes to look at something secretly. If we say peak, P-E-A-K, it is highest point of something. So what he reached the peak of his career, highest point. It is correct. Misusing peak, P-I-Q-U-E. She was at her peak performance during the finals. Here we are talking about that his performance was the best during the finals, peak, highest point. So highest point is this, P-E-A-K. So this is correct, this is wrong. Mixing peak, P-E-E-K and peak, P-I-Q-U-E. The mystery movie really piqued my interest. Piqued is this, P-I-Q-U-E, to arouse curiosity or interest. This is correct, this is wrong. Practice questions. We have to find out which peak, P-E-E-K, P-E-A-K or P-I-Q-U-E, which of these words is to be used in these blank spaces. She tried to peek at the answer sheet to have a secret look. P-E-E-K. The population of the is expected to peak next year to reach a highest point. Highest point is P-E-A-K. The actor's career peaked after his Oscar win. Peaked, highest point. P-E-A-K-E-D. Peaked. The child peeked through the window to see what was happening. Secretly saw through the window. P-E-E-K-E-D. Peaked. Next, the new discovery has truly piqued my interest, arouse curiosity, arouse or interest. Piqued, P-I-Q-U-E-D. Piqued my interest. She took a quick peek at the birthday present. Peek, look, secret look. P-E-E-K, which is concerned with eyes. The mountain climbers reached the peak, highest point of mountain. P-E-A-K. The new mystery novel managed to create interest or arouse interest, my pique my interest to curiosity from the first chapter. He was at his peak performance, P-E-A-K, peak, highest point, highest performance. After the meeting, she could not help but peek through the documents. Peek through the documents, secret look. Eyes, P-E-E-K. His interest in the project began to peak. Curiosity, reason, or interest, arising of interest. PIQUE, began to peak. The company's profits are expected to reach to new heights this quarter. Reach to new heights. PEAK. Next, remember, quick or secretive look, peak. Think highest point for peak, PEAK. Think spark interest for peak, PIQUE. By understanding these subtle differences, you will be a master of peas. Master of peas का मतलब master of peak, master of peak, master of peak, and elevate your writing. Always remember to consider the context in which each word is used to ensure you are conveying the right meaning. That is, after going through this course, you will properly understand the meaning of each of these words, and you will correctly use the word which properly fits in this sentence you are writing, and the reader will be in a position to understand properly what you want to convey. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course. Now the topic before us is don't be fooled, separating into from into. Into, into and into are two words. In the first case, into, it is a one word, whereas into, here it is a two word. So understanding the difference between these two words can be challenging because they sound identical in speech. When we speak, these two words are identical, pronunciation is same, but the meaning of these two words is different and their usage is also different. Firstly, we will understand the meaning of into, which is a one word. Into is a preposition. It indicates movement or direction entering something. It is also used to indicate a state of change or transformation from one condition to another. We will understand the usage of into with the help of some examples. He came into the room. Here into shows movement, that is, a person came from outside to inside the room. The next is the company is growing into a global leader. Here it is showing change, state of change. The caterpillar turned into a butterfly. Here into shows transformation from one condition to another. We also see certain more examples. He jumped into the pool. He jumped into the pool. So here into shows movement, that is, the person was outside the pool and he jumped inside the pool. Now we understand the meaning of into. Here into are two words. It is a combination of two words, in and to. It is used in a lot of situations, often used with verbs to create a new meaning. Now we understand the meaning of this into with the help of some examples. He walked in to ask a question. So here walked in means he came in to ask a question. Next is the administrator did not give in to the demands of the protesters. Here we want to convey that the administrator did not agree to the demands. Here is no movement. Here the administrator has not agreed to the demands of protesters. He logged in to his account. Logged in to his account is a, when we want to access a website or our computer system, then we use the word login, sign in. So in that case, we use the words into, which in is separate and to is separate. Some more example. She came in to warm her hands and feet. So here she entered with the purpose of warming her hands and feet. Tips to remember: whether it is into or into which we are to use. Think of into as a single unit. It is a single word. We are to think it as a single unit, and it is to be used when we are to indicate movement or change or transformation from one condition to another. He walked into the building. Here we want to suggest that he entered a building by walking. Movement, here it is movement. If in and to belong to separate parts of the sentence, that is, if these are two words, in and to are separate, then use into. She came in to see her friend. She came in means she entered to see her friend. Now here are certain practice questions to find out whether we are to use into or into to complete the sentence. He jumped dash the pool. Here a person is outside the pool, he has jumped inside the pool. So here it is movement. So here we will use into, which is a one word. She signed, access the website. She signed in to access the website. So here she signed in, to is separate. She signed in. Here it is digital access. The boat sank into the ocean, deep ocean. Here the boat was outside on the boat was in the ocean, and there is movement from outside to inside, deep inside the deep ocean. So here it is movement. We need to break dash the system into. Here break into means unauthorized access or forced access. The cat snaked into the house. Here it is movement. Snake was outside the house and it is entering the house when no one was looking. Next, the manager called the team into his house into his office for a meeting. Here team is called to enter his office for a meeting. He jumped, the cat jumped into. Here it is movement. The cat was outside the box and he jumped into movement. The kids poured the juice into, because the juice was in some other container and it has been powered from that container to glasses. It is movement of juice. They went into the cave. Here it is movement. They were outside the cave. They came inside the cave to explore its depths. She logged into her account. She logged in. It is digital access. She accessed the account to check her email. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.